interviewing Charlie Michael for the Muncie Labor Oral History Project. The date is February 1, 2006. Charlie, I want to begin by thanking you very much for agreeing to participate in our project. The question I've been asking everybody as kind of a point to begin is if you could tell me a little bit about how you or your family happened to come to Muncie, Indiana.
Well, we lived out here south of Hartford City,
Okay.
where my wife's mother lived.
Oh, okay.
We rented her place for a while, and then I decided to be a lot easier just to find a place closer to work because I intended to stay there.
Okay. Okay. Tell me a little bit about your educational background.
Well, I finished high school,
Okay. Where'd you go to high school?
Rawl, Indiana.
Rawl?
Rawl
I've
High
heard of that. How do you spell that?
R-O-L-L.
R-O-L-L. Okay.
And don't call it Roll.
No, it's Rawl. Rawl, Indiana. Okay. Where's that near?
It's south of Hartford City to State Road 18,
Okay.
and it's just a mile and a quarter down to Rawl to the left, west.
So is that
All
what's?
the school building's still there and the gym's still there, but there's nobody else there.
Huh. So that became part of a consolidation. You know, it's part of a larger school district. You know what used to
Yeah.
be Rawl.
Mhm.
You talked about going into Muncie because you knew you wanted to work there. When did you talked about Chevy a little bit, but was that the first job that you had working at Muncie Chevrolet?
Yes.
Okay.
Before that, I worked up to a electric shop in Hartford City.
Okay.
Old man got me in there, and he taught me about everything he teaches. He's one of the best repair electricians I ever saw.
Okay. So that's where you really learned your trade
Mhm.
as far as electrician.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, you told me a little bit before we began the tape about your, shall we say, brief career at Muncie Chevrolet. Why'd you leave Muncie Chevrolet?
Like I said, I just worked there less than an hour, and
Yeah.
I went on a job to fix the outside trolley car on the backside of the Chevrolet, and I put the lock, threw the switch, and put the lock through it, but I didn't lock the padlock, just run it through it. So when I told that guy working there, I said, now don't bother this, I got to go up and work on that track. And I said, I was up there and just finishing tightening the bolt back up, and somebody threw the switch on, and I said, fire just went every place. Well, it welded the pliers to the nut on the, I had it on. And I got down off there, and I got on that guy working there. I said, hey, I told you not to throw that switch till I got back down here. I'd throw it. He said, I didn't do it. He said, that plant supervisor there done it. He said, I told you, he said, not to do it. You just went up there to fix that. And he said, told me, well, he ought to have had it done by now. Just throw the switch.
So what'd you do?
But he said, that's him going right there. And I went down there, and I said, you throw that switch on me while I was working up there? He said, yes, I did. And I said, you ain't fit to be around a place like this. He said, you ain't going to be very long. I said, you're right. And I said, I just knocked daylights out of him with about 2 punches. Went on right up to the office, told the office manager I quit, and he wanted to know why. And I told him, he said, hey, you don't have to quit. He says, he's never been known for something like that before. He's the one that's going to leave here. I said, well, I'm leaving anyway. And
So
he said, I wish you wouldn't. And I just got in the car and drove over to Warner here, up front office. That's when it was uptown, you know.
Right.
And went in and told him the application. I said, I'll tell you what happened. And I said, you can call over there and find out.
Yeah.
And Dean Boyle was doing the hiring at that time. And he said, if you don't care, I'll call over there. And I called over there, and he talked a little bit, and he said, are you kidding me? Well, I'd have done the same thing. He said, that's all. I couldn't tell what that said, but he said, well, I'd have done the same thing. He turned around and he said, hey, the man thinks he's a good electrician. It didn't take you long to fix it, but he said, he never really had a chance to give you any length of time, but he said, you seem to know what you're doing. I said, well, I've went over here before I come here that glass company over there at Dunkirk.
Yeah.
And another guy worked in there for
Yeah.
8 weeks. We wired every bit of that.
In Dunkirk? Oh,
Mhm.
God.
And we went down to Upland.
Yeah, yeah,
Next long trip I went on.
yeah.
And we went out there. They were just building some new buildings up, and we wired them.
Oh, okay. So by this time,
He's still living.
was that right?
He's a little older than I am. He wasn't a whole lot older, but he was young.
Huh.
Yeah, he came out to see me here about,
I'll be done.
found out where we lived, and he spent about a half day with me talking about old times.
So this is when you got hired at Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you recall what year that was?
I can't.
And anything close
I
will be
can't
okay.
remember. Well, that was, it was before I got married, and we've been married, I don't know,
So this is after World War II.
just after.
Just after, okay. So it's probably in the late 1940s.
Yeah.
Yeah, late 40s.
Yeah, I'd say it was.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of jobs did you have at Gear? Did you do different things or most of the same thing?
Yeah. I hired in there. They said, well, we don't need a maintenance man, but we could work somebody that's particular with their work in the assembly lines down there.
Yeah.
Somebody will show you what we want. We don't want anything that you think's bad at all out.
Right, okay.
Send it around to repair.
Okay.
So that's the only job I ever had there.
Oh, okay. Was this skilled trades?
Huh?
Was this skilled trades?
Well, no, it wasn't what you call skilled trade. That's when that's the electricians and the plumbers and the carpenters and all that.
Oh,
That's their skilled trade. No, I hired a
Regular production line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, tell me.
I worked on that line all the time, down in the assembly on the lines all the time, except years I run for office and got elected.
Yeah. Then you had more time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So describe a little bit about what these jobs were like. I mean, what kind of things did you actually do there?
Well, I've done some things I shouldn't say, but I can do my work faster.
Yeah.
I tested transmissions,
Okay.
and when we got into the bigger transmissions, we had a hoist there.
Right.
They had a hoist, everything. We hooked on each end,
Right.
pulled that chain, rolled over.
Yeah.
But the guy that broke me in, he was a big guy, lived right down here on State Road 3 for a while. I can't think what his name is now.
Yeah.
But he weighed about 240 pounds. He'd say, now, you use the chain. You ain't that big.
Yeah.
At that time, I only weighed about 150 pounds.
Yeah.
And he just grabbed them and just trained through. It just landed just the right place.
Huh.
And so I did it that way for a while, and then I got where I lifted all of them, and I think that's what I've done wrong.
Did you work different shifts out there, or mostly the same shift?
I mostly worked the day shift.
Okay. Which is, in your view, the best shift, best one to have?
For me it was, yes.
Okay.
I just got married and everything.
Yeah.
Suited my needs.
Okay. Okay. When did you become involved in union activities?
Well, they had one there, but went to meetings and just make their report, and that'd be it. And so I run as president one year and got it. And I said, it's more to it than that.
Yeah, right.
And we went up there and we went on a 16-week strike after 1 year after that.
16 weeks?
Yeah.
What were the main issues in that?
The main issue was, we was agreement on everything but the work done, and they've been, it's like I told them, you've been complaining about scrap. People getting off where everything had to be just right down there, believe me.
Yeah.
And they'd run a guy catch one, they wasn't checking their work properly.
Yeah.
And I said, it's costing you money and it's costing me a lot of trouble.
Yeah. I
said, asked for one thing, and I ain't going to give up on it. I want 10% of the profit paid to the employees.
Okay. 10% of their profit.
Of your,
right.
yeah, Warner's profits
right.
to the employees.
Yeah.
And I said, it'll help you. It'll help us.
Yeah.
And he said, we ain't never going to do that.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to talk to the top man down here. I want him in this negotiations.
Right.
And so there's two of them down there. I told them what I wanted. I said, now it's either that or we're going to walk in front of the gate.
Yeah.
I said, I ain't doing this to threaten you. I'm doing it to help our people and to help you guys. Now, all the scrap you claim you've had, if we can get 10% of it going to employees, you'll see your scrap go down so damn far that you'll think you made a good choice.
Yeah. Huh.
He looked at me and he looked over at Art Engel. He was in there sitting there with him. He said, Art, you know this place pretty well. He says, does that make any sense to you? He said, well, I'm not a negotiator, I just plan to put down. He said, I asked you a question. He said, no, that sounds all right to me.
Yeah.
And that aggravated me when I found out they let them get away with that. It didn't cost 10%, wouldn't have been as much.
Yeah.
But we had people in there at the end of the year was getting from 2000 to 2003, $400.
Yeah.
Different years.
Yeah.
Everybody was happy with it.
Yeah.
And one year called and wanted to know if we could hold meetings out at Ball State College and talk to people and thank them and tell them what the good job they're doing and what they were proud to be. And we had a meeting out there, and everybody was happy with it.
Yeah. So then what happened? Then what happened?
Well, it stayed that way for a long time.
Oh, okay, okay.
As
So
long as I was there.
This was after the strike? I mean, after you were out?
Yeah.
On it? Yeah, okay. Okay.
You know, that's the only thing that held us up then.
Yeah.
And I was down there one day, and they called me when they come down to the office. I went back to work at that time. I didn't run for an office.
Yeah.
He said, called you down here to thank you. You was right.
Yeah.
I said, hey, if they get 10% of something, they're going to make damn sure it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Why was there so much scrap around there?
Well, for the work the way it had to be done,
Yeah.
I thought we had very little scrap.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Was that the longest strike you were involved with?
No,
Oh, okay.
we didn't have to strike.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
I just told them we would. We wouldn't. I said, you might as well look at it.
Yeah.
It's going to help you and it's going to help our people. Hell, we don't want our scrap either.
Yeah. Right. Huh. Okay. Well, Warner Gear, I think, in the history of labor in Muncie, has the reputation of having more strikes and wildcats and things like that. I mean, why was that the case? Why did they have more strikes and wildcats?
They didn't when I was there.
Oh, they didn't. Okay. So that's later. Yeah. So one of the things you were concerned about was not having so many
There's very
strikes.
few things if you go in, sit down, and talk sensible, but you
Yeah.
can't straighten out without a strike.
Oh, okay.
Pack is the only one, and we had one strike after that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When you were negotiating contracts, what were the major issues? I mean, was it wages were the most important, or fringe benefits, or what was the most
Well,
important?
fringe benefits was, I would say, number one.
Okay.
For people who spent many years there to
Yeah.
have something when they got out.
Yeah. Well, right now, because I talked to Gerald Poor, and I know a big issue with Borg Warner now and the retirees is all this health care stuff. I mean, when did you negotiate all that health care stuff? How long have you had those health care things and retiree pensions and things like that?
About the about 4 years after I got there and got elected,
Okay.
and started going up to Union Hall and telling them
Yeah.
what we had to do.
Okay.
I said, then you're going to help us, going to help them people,
Yeah.
and if somebody gets sick, they ought to be paid.
Yeah. Right.
But you got to bring it in to the doctor.
Right.
Request the doctor or hospital receipt statement. You got to get it.
Yeah. Was it hard to get those things in negotiations from the company?
No, not really. After
Really?
that, not too hard.
Huh. Okay.
We sat down and talked, and they'd try to whittle us down a little, and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
they found out one thing: when I negotiated a contract, I gave them what we wanted. I said, I ain't making these proposals
Yeah.
to spend time.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I'm making these proposals because that's what we're going to end up with.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't get in there and ask, and they don't get much of anything now, don't they?
Right. So the way the
But
union.
there's a lot of difference in the, man, at that one time, we had better than 600 people in 1 year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, when you talk about the way these issues got on the table to discuss in the contracts, I mean, when you were a union president, I mean, did you go to the union members and say, okay, what do you want? And then you went through a process deciding what they asked for?
I read my proposal.
Okay.
I didn't pass any out.
Okay.
But they went to the word got around.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm getting at is that in many ways, unions functioned in a very democratic way. And so I guess what I'm trying to find out is that a big union like 287, if the regular rank and file guy wanted something to be considered for a contract,
He'd bring it up to the meeting.
okay, so he'd bring it up at the meeting and then you decide yes or no? Or
yes.
Okay. Just for the record, you mentioned that you were president of the union. How many times were you president of 287? A lot of history here.
Let's see, I don't know, 2 or 3 times I run.
Okay.
I got elected every time.
And you're also a committeeman?
Mm-hmm.
And,
I was committeeman.
Yeah, okay.
I was served for quite a while for committeeman, and I run the committee.
Okay. How many years did you work there? I'm asking all these tough questions. I guess the way to say it is, how many years do you have in it at Warner Gear?
Oh, I really don't recall now.
Okay. Has to be at least, what, 30-something, I would think.
Yeah, probably more than that.
Yeah, okay. Well, do you remember when you retired?
Mm-hmm.
When did you retire? Back in the 90s sometime?
No, I think I retired in
Probably in the 80s.
19... It wasn't 2000, I know that.
Oh, it was 2000?
No.
Oh, yeah, probably in 1980.
I think it was 1980... I'm trying to say 89, but I ain't sure that's right.
Okay, well, that's close enough. Yeah. In the time you were working at Warner Gear, how would you describe the relationship in Muncie between management and labor?
I think we got down while I was there that you could just about believe what they told you. I don't think they ever questioned us. Now, we had a couple of guys, and you mentioned one of them. Anything said at meeting,
Yeah.
Dean Boyle he'd know before we got out much the next day.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so I figured it's them 2 guys.
Yeah. So would you say?
So I said, he's trying to get a supervisor's job, and that's up to you people.
Right.
But I said, I won't tell you what he's doing. And I said, now, if you don't believe this, don't you say anything to him. And I'm going to tell him that it looks like we're going to have a lot of trouble down there. We're going to have to take care of ourselves, and we're going to have to show them we mean business.
Yeah.
Or we're closing the doors.
Oh. Okay.
And boy, the next Monday, Dean Boyle called me down there, and he said, Charlie, could you come down here a little bit? And I said, well, I will at break time. He said, come down now. I've already talked to you for me. He said, you'd come down here for a while. Come down there, and he said, would I want a guy like that working under me? You better believe I wouldn't. He said, that's terrible.
Yeah. So you got the job done.
But he knew. I told him what I was telling him. I said, don't you let on. And if he don't come down here and tell you close to it, he may add a little bit to it.
Yeah.
But he's trying to tell you so you like him and put him on the supervision.
Yeah.
And I said, I just wanted you to know, I don't think you want him.
Huh.
And they didn't want him.
Okay.
But I think he straightened out quite a bit after that.
Oh, okay. Do you think that the relationship between management and labor in Muncie has changed over the years? Do you think it was different when you first started out in the plant and than it is now?
I couldn't answer that honestly.
Oh, okay.
Because they got different people to work with
Yeah.
on both sides.
Yeah.
And you'd have to ask one of them
Okay.
how they're getting along.
Well,
My daughter works there, and they seem to be doing all right.
Okay. But you felt you got along pretty well with management when you were working
Oh,
for
yeah.
the union.
It was a team.
Team, okay.
They know where we stood on about everything. And
Okay.
we didn't always get along.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think are some of the advantages of unions?
Well, I think it saves a lot of argument between employees and the employer.
Okay.
If a problem comes up, I think it ought to be worked out in a civilized way, if it can be.
Okay.
And I think that's what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a benefit to the company to have a union that's,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, you mean
that will cooperate on things to help the company as well as the union.
Right. Okay. You'd mean that from the standpoint of, you know, it's either in the contract or it's not in the contract or something like that?
Well, both ways.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, if they got a problem, stir it up and say, hey,
Yeah.
we're having a problem down on line 16 in R2.
Yeah.
We can go down and talk to them,
Yeah.
or we're going to have to do something.
Okay.
And we go down and talk to them. And what we come up with on that, we had a steward in each section, and they're picked by the first ones was picked by me.
Right.
And from that time on, the people in there elected their stewards.
Okay. Yeah.
But they had any problems, they went to steward. The steward goes to the foreman, they wouldn't they get it settled pretty good.
Oh, okay.
A lot of times they'd have to write a grievance.
Yeah.
If then the foreman couldn't get in on, then go to management, and
Right.
whoever's going to be the leader, they'll talk it over.
Okay. Give me an example of what kind of standard grievances would you get in a plant like Warner Gear?
Well, I'll give you one, and that's
Okay.
scrap.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I can't answer now.
Yeah.
But it's altogether different now.
Yeah. Well, I mean when you were there. I don't mean now. I mean when you were there.
Had some teaism and
Oh, okay.
penalties and stuff. We'd try to get eased off on some of it, which I could come up with a reasonable
Okay.
thing.
Yeah.
And as far as scrap, we got that pretty well cleaned up.
Yeah.
I mean, it went down to
Yeah.
less than 1%.
Wow. Yeah, that's really impressive. Huh.
But there's very few things can't be worked out if both people want to be sensible.
Yeah, I mean, so I think your view of the relationship between union and management is that if you sit down and are reasonable about things, you
Yeah.
can get things done.
Yeah, you don't have to do like I did there for a while and they'll say, hey, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah,
And I made sure it happened.
yeah. Oh, that's right.
I'll tell you that.
Do you think there are any disadvantages of unions?
No, I don't think so. I think it's an advantage to both parties, really.
Okay. When you were working at Warner Gear, what role did race play in hiring and things like that?
Who?
African Americans, as far as being workers there. The reason I'm asking is that there are a lot of people who said to me that at the time you were working there, this is for everybody in Muncie, not just Warner Gear, it was really hard for a lot of blacks to get jobs at these places.
Now, we was having problems, absentee problems. A lot of it was family problems at home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I made a committee, and I was chairman of one of them, and we had several colored people in there.
Yeah.
And the guy he lives out east of Muncie, and I want to go see him before I die.
Uh-huh.
He's one of the nicest fellows I ever met in my life,
Yeah.
Bob Darden.
Bob Darden, okay. Yeah.
And he was sensible,
Yeah.
and I told him that I said, now we got several people of your race here,
Mhm.
and some of them, you know, and I do, think that we're going to give them a screw every time we turn around,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't intend to,
Mhm.
but I'd like for you to assist me if I can get the permission from the company
Yeah.
to talk to these people.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something funny. See that ring there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it don't look like much, but that's made out of Monel.
Made out of what?
Monel,
Monel. Is that
Yeah.
M-O-N-E-L?
something like that. But anyway, Art called me down to the office one day, and I got a chunk of it, and had a guy out tool shop, and he worked on most of it on his break time.
Yeah.
I said, can you make me a ring out of that?
Huh.
I said, when it polishes, it's good.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah. I tried to. He's one that made it. Hell, it ain't much, but
Well, what was that metal used for?
it was used in the heat treat.
Oh, okay. Heat treat. Huh. That's really neat. So they machined this just like that?
Huh?
They machined that just like that?
Yeah, in the tool room.
That's really nice. That's a great keepsake.
Yeah. Anyway, I went in there talking to Art one day, and he said, I want to call me down there. And I said, yeah. And he said, that ringer on your finger, you haven't made in here? And I said, yes, he made it during his lunch period. And I said, it took him about 2 weeks to get it made for me, but I like it. He said, did you get that out of the heat treat? And I said, yeah, I got a piece about that long. He said, well, I know you don't know this, but that's worth more than gold.
Really?
He said, we got a lot of money in them bars down there. Don't be going having people go down there for them and get them cut them rings. And he said, I'm not going to ask you who done it. I don't want to know. He said, he done a good job. I said, yes,
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
He made my daughter one too. One little piece left. I had a little daughter, she couldn't wear it now, but it had 2 hearts on it.
That's a beautiful ring. That's
And,
a great Warner Gear story.
And I gave it to her, and she wore it till she couldn't wear it anymore, and then she put it on her necklace.
Oh, necklace, yeah.
I think she still got it. I don't know where she had it or not.
Well, you know,
You
mentioning
probably know my daughter, don't you?
What's her name?
Spoke to her.
What's her first name?
Sue Clark.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
That's my daughter. She's
Oh.
one.
Yeah.
And I wish she had it.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. But anyway, before I left Art on this one,
Yeah.
when he said, I got it, and I said, well, I'll go tell him. I'll take it back down there. And he said, cut the door, and he said, wait a minute. He said, let's don't stop this right now. I want you to make me one just like that. And I said, well, you'd have to know your size.
Yeah.
He reached down there and pulled off another ring he had, and he said, this size. And he wore that. He wore it all the time.
Are you the only 2 guys that have these rings?
I think so.
Wow, that's a great piece of Muncie labor history. You know, you mentioned your daughter, and that gets me to the topic of women, and I wanted to ask you, did women play an important part in labor activities out at Warner Gear when you were there? Any leadership positions or anything like that?
Not really.
Okay. But they worked out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what do you think's the reason that they didn't play any role in
they
leadership?
voted and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they weren't on committees or.
They didn't. I can't remember one that ever run for it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I've talked to some of them to see, even run for sure, and they said, they got all have the same answer.
Yeah.
Women are funny. We had women work in the same room, and there'd be maybe four or five of them sitting at this table, and plenty of room. There's long tables.
Yeah.
And then there'd be 4 or 5 others, and you walk over and speak to them, they'd say, boy, look at that bunch. That's a bunch of bitches and everything else. Talk about them.
Huh.
I said, well, you all seem like nice folks to me.
Yeah. They're all getting paid the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But women are jealous, I think. I made that in my mind. They just, if you stop talk one table, you better stop talk 2.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Muncie, Indiana, when I came here in the late 1960s to be part of the Ball State faculty, was described to me by a friend in Michigan who used to live in Muncie as a really tough union town. You think in the late 1960s that was an accurate description? This was a really tough union town?
Well, yeah, I think it was.
Okay, why do you say that?
Because I thought, well, talk to them in a have unions.
Okay. But I mean, when people use the term tough union town, I mean, what does that, what comes to mind when you say
Reasonable.
that?
That's one of the things, that if I got called up and they were having meetings, I'd get called to
Okay.
and tell them, this ain't something you deal with and you don't have a problem or demands. You got to be reasonable.
Yeah.
Because if you don't stay reasonable,
Yeah.
you can't negotiate.
Yeah.
If you put something on the board that you know in your own mind they ain't going to buy,
Yeah.
don't moderate,
Yeah.
be reasonable. Put
Okay.
there what you want and then come close to that as you
Yeah.
can.
Okay. People have said to me that in the time when I came here, when you were working and were involved in union activities at Warner Gear, that jobs at Warner Gear were the best assembly line jobs in Muncie. You think that's true? But these were the jobs people really wanted. They wanted to work at Gear.
Well, I think so.
Okay.
And I think one of the things was the relationship between the unions and the company.
Okay.
We never shut that plant down that we really didn't have to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Because when you shut the plant down, the people don't have wages coming in. They still got spending coming in, but they don't have wages.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you, if people on strike think it's a lot of fun, it's not.
Why do you...
Has to be your very last resort to get anything at all.
Just to walk out and strike.
That's got to be the last result. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Shouldn't be the first thing.
Yeah.
You don't stand up there and threaten them, we're going to do this, we're going to do that.
Yeah. Well, you know, as you look back from today, you know, I know that you're, as a retiree from Borg Warner, you got the same letter in the mail that Gerald Poor got about health benefits and things like that. How do you feel about the union movement in the United States today?
I think, well, I ain't got much information on it except UAW.
Right.
And it's a strong union.
Yeah. Yeah. But why do you think things have
But
changed?
they work on the same model too.
Yeah, but I mean, why do you think
they come down and think you're out of bounds? They'll tell you, hey, if you need help, just like I said on the 10%, they'd come down, they'd have went over the books if I'd asked them to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, you were really asking.
Now that's one thing they give up. I don't think they should have given up.
Yeah. You know, when you talk about that 10%, how did you know that the company could afford that?
Well, if they couldn't afford nothing, you wouldn't get nothing.
Oh, okay. I mean, you knew they were making enough money that you could do that.
It's an incentive for people to put out good jobs and make more money.
Okay, okay.
And I've had them, and the company thanked me for that.
Yeah.
Hard Angle and the top people.
Okay.
They said that's one of the things we hated, and I think it's the best thing that ever happened to us.
When you were out there,
So if you got paid per piece or by the hour, and we add another thing to it, you get paid according to your work.
Oh, right, yeah. Quality of work?
Quality of work.
Yeah. Did you make a lot of different transmissions out there when you were there? Is that basically what you made? I mean, what were some of the different transmissions that you made?
Well, we made them Chevrolet, Ford, Chrysler.
Oh, okay. So you had a lot of big contracts.
We come out with the Warner Gear sold that contract. That really got into me.
Which one was that?
The big automatic transmissions.
Oh, the Fords? Yeah, were those Ford-O-Matics? Is that what those are called?
Oh, it's for Chrysler really starting with.
Oh, okay.
Let others bought it.
Oh, okay. Huh. Well, those are all the formal questions I have, but at the end of my interviews, I always give my interviewees a chance to add anything that you want to add for posterity about your work at Warner Gear and your role as a leader of unions in Muncie. So anything you want to add, this is your chance to do it.
I can't think of anything. I met with a lot of union leaders and we talked things. talk
Yeah.
about things.
Yeah.
You know, Ford Warner hadn't been out there forever.
Right. Yeah.
That started in a little shop uptown.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
A man died before I got to meet him. He was
Yeah.
he was an old man,
Yeah.
like I am now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when he went in the hospital, they didn't want any people to go see him.
Oh, okay.
It's been that long ago. I was young.
Yeah. Well, it's been a plant that's played a really important part in the history of this
But he had
community.
he made the first transmissions shifts.
Uh-huh.
Always was clutched before.
First, I mean, with gear shifts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with a clutch, not
It was
automatic.
made right there.
Oh. Well,
But that building he built in wasn't as big as my garage out there.
and that was the beginning of what became
But
Ford
then
Warner?
people come down there, and I think they give him a job on the leadership
Yeah, the management.
management,
Yeah.
and if he would help manage get things going.
Yeah. Okay, little kitty cat is exiting.
You know, that little kitty cat's only about 8 months old now,
Oh, okay.
and that little thing come up here. He'd been hit with a car or something.
Oh.
His tail's broke 2 places, and I never did try to set it. It's still broke, but it healed up.
Gives him a lot of character, I guess you'd say.
Oh yeah. He don't dirty on the floor enough.
Oh, that's
He's
great.
got boxes out there. He knows where his boxes are. Once in a while they want outdoors, and we let him go outdoors.
Huh.
You don't have to call very hard to get back
Yeah.
in the house. He gets up when my wife comes home. She gets on the couch and lays back on the pillow. He'll jump up there and lay right there with her.
Well, thank you very much for participating in our project. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your information.
There wasn't a lot that can help you.
Well, there was a lot of good information there. Thanks.